Hello, everybody. How's it going? Um, Slim Overton here. I am live here on the Slim Nations 101's experience here on YouTube. And I just wanted to come on here for a minute to let me put my hat on. Put my hat on. Man, people might not recognize me. Might not recognize me if I don't have my Slim Nation hat on. But anyway, here I am. I just wanted to come on. I wanted to just say, let people know that I am supporting Louise Lucas in what's going on. A lot of you all know that the FBI came to her businesses, her office and her other business, cannabis business, and went through it, and they had a federal warrant to do so. A lot of people feel like it was initiated by the Trump administration because he does go after people who re- sort of go against him or make him mad or get him upset. And they're saying this is something that's an ongoing investigation for a long time. But whatever the case may be, I just wanted to come out and give my support for her and say I stand by her. And I don't really have to wait for what the investigation brings up, like some people are doing, and that's their right to do that. The governor, Spanberg, is doing that. They're trying to be cautious and wait on whatever may come of the whatever may come of the charges or whatever that they are bringing against her or the businesses or something. It's kind of unclear, you know, what's going on. But I don't have to wait for that, regardless of what comes out. If I consider her a friend, been knowing her a long time, all the way back until when she was city council and the first black female city council person in the city of Portsmouth, and worked her way up, on the city council for a long time, and is now is one of the highest rated elected officials in the state, President pro tem, and uh, chairman of a lot of very important boards. Committees, finance committee, and she appoints on the committee that appoints judges, throughout the state. So, she's somebody that has earned the position she has now, and always has been vocal in the way she feels about certain things, and she's human like anybody else. Everything is not always uh, to the liking of everybody. But that's any politician, any elected official. You're not going to please everybody, but you cannot say that she hasn't been a champion for the people. Uh, when she was on city council and all the years she's been uh, in the General Assembly in the state of Virginia. So, like I said, I don't have to wait to find out where the investigation is going or get more information. However it goes, a friend supports a friend, regardless. And I'm convinced that it's a revenge uh, from the Trump administration, and all that'll come out later. But whatever it is, I will still stand by her and be supportive. And we'll see. I mean, the trend is you can see for yourself all the people that he's going after, and we already know that he controls the FBI, you know, uh, and the Justice Department. So anything that he doesn't like, you can see the trend. Anybody that doesn't see the trend, he tells us. He in all his true social posts and all his appearances on social media, he tells us who his enemies are, and then next thing you know, these people are being focused on by the FBI or the Justice Department and charges, which a lot of them end up getting tossed out. But, I just wanted to show, and I wanted to say this too, as far as the city of Portsmouth, man, we have elections and we have some important midterm elections coming up for uh, the Congress. I mean, so we have to be aware of what's going on there and make sure that we turn this thing around. So at least in the state in the country country's legis, legislative body, we can have the control back on the Democratic side. So we can at least it was give us some teeth to fight back all these things that the Trump administration has put in place, or what they're trying to do with the voting rights and things like that. But when it comes down to Portsmouth, we also have elections coming up in November and in the near future, and it's been traditionally, uh, on the local level, it's supposed to be nonpartisan as far as declaring if you're a Democrat or Republican or MAGA. And so, but I think the climate is different now. I think it's something that even though the candidates don't have to let us know, but I think it's important that we know or somehow find out um, it, how these people think about how these candidates that are running for local office, city council, even school board, how they feel about the national issues that are going on, the national policies that the administration is doing. Uh, uh, some of the voters might say, okay, I like that they are in agreement with the national policies that are going on now, the high prices of gas and everything that's being caused by a lot of it by the war. But a lot of these things were going on before the war. The prices were kind of slipping up for groceries and everything like that because of actions that were taken the previous year. So I think it's important that we at least all the candidates that declare, and like I said, I think on a local level they don't have to, but I think we can kind of demand as voters that they let us know how they feel when they have the forms. It shouldn't only be questions about how they feel about local issues, but it's important for us to have those questions asked to them about how they feel on national issues, because a lot of things that's happening nationally eventually is going to trickle down to us locally. Locally, what they do affects us pretty immediately, and the state, whatever laws that are passed and put in place, go into effect July 1. And but the national, a lot of that comes into play right away, but a lot of it has to trickle down, and it does affect us. So I think it's important that we know exactly the candidates are running locally now, as opposed to where it was traditionally, where you didn't have to really declare who you are. And a lot of times voters didn't know or didn't ask, if you were Democrat or Republican, not unless you just knew because you saw them in Democratic meetings or you knew they were at or were told that they were at Republican meetings or you knew that they were Republicans. Uh, Over the years, I would see a lot of them hid that fact, hid if they were Republicans. And then years later, it comes out that they were Republicans. And, over the years, you will see them at Democratic events or even at Democratic Party meetings. And then later on, as the years go by, Moody, you would find out that they were Republicans the whole time, or switched at some point, but I believe they were Republicans the whole time, and it wasn't popular back then for uh, them to uh, say that they were, because of the makeup of Portsmouth, the city of Portsmouth, Virginia. They had a history of voting Democratic. So uh, a wise person running for office would would at least try to make people think that they might have been Democrats, or um, not bring it up, or hope it didn't come up, where they would have to answer that question. And most of the time it didn't, because a lot of times it wasn't supposed to matter, on a local level, you know, what party affiliation you did. Now, it's a lot of black folks that you knew were Democrats because they came out and said it, and you knew when they had events, Democratic events from the local Democratic Party. You saw who was there. You saw who, who well, you couldn't go by contributions made to candidates, because a lot of people made contributions to everybody, or the top people they thought, and that mostly businessmen, because they were being smart and said, well, I'm going to give a little bit to Democrats, I'm gonna give some to Republicans, I'm gonna give some, to independents. So whoever wins, my name will be on the list, or they would give just below the um, the amount uh, that had to be recorded. Say for instance, anything $100 and more had to be recorded to the public. So they would give $99. So that didn't have to be recorded. It's probably different now, but years ago that didn't have to be reported to the public. But the candidates knew who gave them some money. So they wisely sort of spread it out, $99 here, $99 there. And if they wanted to give more, they gave it in somebody else's name. But anyway, just make sure you're aware with everything that's going on. You're aware what's going on nationally, and be involved there. And ask those questions about the candidates that are running, even the incumbents, or sitting council members. If you ever see them, if you want to know what political affiliation they have, ask them. And I believe they will probably tell you, or rather than lie to you, because you could find out. And and plus, most of them now don't hold back, don't hold that back, don't hide in the closet with their affiliation. They'll let you know. But I just think it's good for the voters to know, because it might be something that's important to you, might be something that's excuse me, important to you, as far as you want that person to represent you. Excuse me. If you want that person to represent you, because how they feel about um, the MAGA agenda, you know, and you're gonna have some people running that um, are with that, and you have some that are Republicans that you just know that they're Republicans. You're not going to know, but it's just important to know now. And I can't say it enough. Now in local politics, it has come down to that, where we need to know that. But basically, I came up here to um, show my support for Senator Louise Lucas, and let her know, and let whoever sees this know that I stand by her, and I will be standing by her regardless of what the investigation uncovers. If it's anything to uncover, I still believe it's a part of a revenge tour that the administration, Trump and his administration, is making throughout the country, and they're picking people who just take a look at who the people they are coming after, and now in the future, and in the past, and put it all together, and then you'll be able to see for yourself, you know, a definite pattern of who they're going after, and it's a pattern there, and then it's a pattern in general. Anybody who opposes him, and a lot of people, you see these people jumping on his bandwagon or part of his bandwagon because it's all, in most cases, it's all political. I'm sure in the back room they say, "What in the world is this guy doing?" I mean, and before I go, I hope if you didn't see uh, Trump talking to in the Oval Office, talking to a bunch of young children, and the subject he was talking about, brought up the transgender. He brought up talking about the war, and at one point he said, Iran, and we get them to a point where we have to not, get rid of them and shoot them right between the eyes. And you're talking to young kids. Now, I'm not saying that they can't take it, but what is that? What kind of conversation? Most people, for yourself, most people, if you're in a conversation and a young person comes around or a group of young people come around, you kind of change the texture of the conversation, the way I mean, just to protect, the innocence of those children, and many of them are probably aware of what's going on, but that's not something you do for that child experience coming to the White House, which is something that lives with you forever. And you have to stand there and listen to him talk about war and other people. And I mean, if you get a chance, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Just, I guess you can pull it up by Trump talking to young kids in the Oval Office, and it probably pop up. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it, and somehow, if you can let me know how how you feel about that. But you know, but we're not surprised at what he does, and that's why it's important, at least to me, and hopefully it's important to other people on a local level. Uh, if they supporting his policy, are they supporting him? You know, and if they are, fine. I mean, that's their right. I'm not going to try to convince them. I mean, we're not, you're not going to be able to talk a cat off a fish truck. You know, that they're going to stay there because the fish is what they want, and fish is what they need, and they're going to stay on there. So nothing I can say to get that cat off a fish truck if the fish are on there, or if that's what he wants. But it's good for us to know, so it would help us uh, be more informed, and we can sort of figure out, is this someone that I want making decisions for me locally while they support things that I disagree with that's going on in the present administration or on the national scene, you know. Uh, so uh, that's all I had to say. So, and this is Slim Talk. So anytime you see Slim Talk, it's Slim Opinion, and but I feel strongly about it, and I just have my own way of talking. Some people said, you know. Uh, um, Too respectful, too soft, but you don't know what's going on in here. I just have a different way to approach things, but many people that you heard that's talking really strong. I mean, they're saying, they're saying what I would probably say, but I was, raised a certain way. Certain people are raised a certain way, and this is the way I approach what I have to say in sharing my opinion. And hopefully, some people will listen. I just, choose a different way, and I respect all the other people. If they have different ways of doing it, a more vocal way, a more expressive way of saying it, where they have to really call them out. Uh, I respect that, and really admire them for that, because I think some of that. those ways are often necessary in order to really get the attention of people. And but I think it's just different ways to skin a cat, and using all these cat references. It's like talking of a cat off a fish truck and different ways to skin a cat. But these are the old sayings that you always heard the older people in the neighborhoods have. They would always have these sayings, and now I'm one of those elders, so now I'm using them. Isn't that funny? So it's kind of full circle. So uh, but anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and please continue to watch um, the Slim Nation one-on-ones experience. We'll be coming back with some one-on-one conversations soon. The last couple of months or so, concentration has been on the Slim and Shona show, trying to make sure that we have that content uh, going like it should in order for the channel to grow. And we'll be coming back to having the one-on-ones uh, slim experience that I love to have with people, that one-on-one conversation where we really can get into and let you know who that person really is. And it's a lot of people that you meet as an adult, and that's them as an adult, but you don't know what made them tick, what made them into the person they are today, the person that you meet or the person that you know. And most of them, and I would dare say all of them that I've interviewed so far, and probably in the future, have those unique beginnings uh, where it was almost dictated how they would end up, and some of them went completely different from uh, their surroundings or their education. But it's always some link back to them growing up, from influences to the way they saw the world as a young person that shaped them into who they are today. So those are the stories I like to explore, the conversations I like to have, and sometimes having those conversations with people, they haven't thought about that, and then they go back and say, "Well, I did show an interest." It kind of show an interest in politics a long time ago. I did show an interest in being a uh, electrical engineer with some of the little things I did, but didn't pay attention to it. But eventually, it manifested itself into what I'm doing now. So stay tuned for more of those one-on-one conversations, as well as every Tuesday the Slim and Shona show. And sometimes we do Mondays because we're trying to build up a video library in order for us to grow on YouTube, and as well as grow on Facebook. But one of our main goals is to grow on YouTube, uh, where we can maximize, the people that we reach, especially when we have the shows, when we're trying to share information that might be important to you, it might help you, it might encourage you to keep your doctor's appointments, might encourage you to get tested for certain things, it might encourage you to be a friend to another person, it might encourage you to do whatever. So that's what we're trying to do over there on the Slim and Shona show. Both of us have uh, unique experiences that we've had, and we've shared our personal stories. So if people come on and they want to share some of their personal stories, sometimes it can be so effective as far as reaching people that sit home and think that they're the only ones that are going through a certain situation, but actually they are really um, they are really not alone in what they're going through. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time on we'll either be on the Slim Nation one-on-ones experience, or we'll definitely see you on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel. It's called Our Take on It, featuring Slim and Shona. So make sure you tune in for that if you can't watch it live, because all of our shows are live, so we can have participation with people that are watching during the broadcast. And if you can't catch it live, you can catch the rebroadcast that will be on our YouTube channel. And before I go, created a channel with Papa and Zuri, which is a channel, a show that we occasionally come up here with myself and my granddaughter Zuri. So we have about, um, I think, 3 videos or 2 videos, and we're going to get them in as we can. Of course, she's busy, uh, and she's in Georgia, the state of Georgia. So uh, we will, you're going to see a few of those. So stay tuned for those. I look forward to those, having a conversation. She's 8 years old, and you'd be amazed at some of the things an 8-year old can talk about. Not too much about politics. Well, I wouldn't get into like Trump did with those young kids that were at the Oval Office. But, you know, if they ask questions, then you know that they are aware enough for you to be able to answer it in some kind of way. And parents with young kids, and it's your first time, be prepared for anything these days, because the children are exposed to so much more than a lot of us were with all the social media and technology. Even what's made for kids is still a lot of information coming through that medium that might surprise you with some of the questions they might have about certain issues, even at the age of 8 years old. So so stay tuned for all of that. And as I continue to enjoy doing this social media thing, um, it's something that I just enjoy doing, and hopefully we can grow. Even at this age I am now, I try to uh, show that you don't have to be 25 or a little older, or a young buck, or a young person to be involved in this. The only thing it is the disadvantage that I have, I didn't grow up with all this technology, so I'm doing this and still learning at the same time how to make the production better, and all of that, because I see people really being creative with the things that they're doing, and it comes second nature to them. They just, okay, use a little bit of AI here, and a little bit of my creativity here, and put together, even putting together openings of the podcast or the shows. You know, I've seen some creative things. So I'm working on that, learning and watching videos, and talking to other people. And hopefully I can get to a point where I can hire somebody to put some things together for us, so we can, as far as promotion, but we're starting to gain traction with people outside of the area that we are. One advantage with Slim and Shona, she's in near Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here in the city of Portsmouth, Virginia. And both of these states now are getting a lot of national attention. Georgia always has, and Virginia too, of late, especially of late. And so it's sort of bringing in a lot of people when they heard Virginia, or they heard Georgia. They're either from there, or people that used to live here and want to know what's going on. So we're gaining traction. So make sure, if you come on, make sure you subscribe and like, our videos. Even if you just come on and watch the shorts, I always put shorts out after our long video, just to give you a taste, because a lot of people just stroll quickly through a video. They don't even get past the intro. That's why we try to make the intro short. And so the shorts that I put out there is just little short snippets of certain things that were said during the show, that I use AI to do that. They just pick out things that are important, or sometimes I could tap into what I'm looking for, and it produces some of the more important points that might have been made during the show. and it just gives you an opportunity to see that real quick, and then if you want to watch the full video, that it'll guide you to that. So hopefully, by doing that after every show, uh, hopefully it will bring people to the full video. But if not, still, when you see the short and you like the short, make sure you like that, and make sure you also subscribe. You can subscribe from the shorts, and just get our numbers up there so we can get to a point where we can take advantage of some of the things that YouTube offers for people that have enough subscribers. And then you really can grow them because the more you have, the more they offer to help you. And that's why you see a lot of these other shows really growing. But I just don't have the national name or national exposure. But that's no excuse. I see local people blowing up as well. It's just me figuring out how to get there, trying to do all this myself, and I'm leaning more to to consultants to let me know because I started watching YouTube videos and it's a bunch of them are how to, but it's all different people and everybody has a different way that made them successful, and then you just have to find what might work for us. So you know, I don't think you needed to know that. That's just me talking out loud or thinking out loud. But take care, everybody, and we'll see you when we see you. And we're going to end the stream now. And just remember that Slim Overton is standing by Senator L. Louise Lucas through all this. Take care. See you next time.